Hello everybody, Logan here with another video. So this is my final installment of the kind of creepy toy series at this point I'll have nothing else to record. So this is kind of the only SVI piece I have, everything else was techie. This is the Decrepitrudy doll from 2014 to 2015. This this is a really interesting piece as it's one of the very few large tabletop dolls that SVI ever did. We've really only seen three to my knowledge that exist. We have Decrepitrudy, which was the very first. Then we had Harlequin doll, which came out 2018, 2019. And then we had the overseas counterpart, which has like blonde hair, no clown. It's not a clown, basically. It's just kind of boring, but it is the same thing as the Harlequin. And that's as much as I remember SVI doing the bigger tabletop dolls. What's really interesting about this is it feels like this almost returned back in 2018 when they did a push doll variant of this. Now, mind you, this thing had been out of long gone since 2015, so it was weird getting a push doll variant, which was almost the exact same as this. It had the same dress, same phrases. The face, I think, was identical, and they even replicated the blue eyes, had the same audio and everything, but they made it into a push doll, and maybe that was Spirit's way of doing a quote-unquote prop doll, but of a tabletop, which we've seen later on with Monkey Chimes. I don't really know what they were thinking with it, but they should have just brought this exact prop back, you know. So, this is one of those tabletops where you're going to have a really hard time finding it for a good price on the secondhand market. These are going for almost $100, if not over $100 a piece. I will be the one to tell you that they are not worth that much. If you are trying to sell them for that amount, you're absolutely delusional. The quality of them is not that great. But again, it's old school SVI, so I mean, if you were expecting phenomenal quality, you are mistaken. These really only went for like $40 back in the day, and I don't know, them going for as much as they are secondhand is ridiculous. They're not worth the amount they're going for. I paid a really good amount for mine. I paid very close to retail for mine, thanks to Sam, who just didn't want this anymore. And actually, this one was in really good condition. Only issues I had was that the speaker was out of place and that the control box just needs to be screwed back in. I mean, those are things that I can do very easily, but it's not damaged. It's in great cosmetic shape, especially for an item this old. And it works, so hey, I'll take that. I would rather it work than have to take this head apart and get to these eyes and mess with it. The interesting thing about Decrepitrudy that I've always noticed, and it's on all of them, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, is that they gave her a lazy eye. So if you've noticed, so here's her eyes where they're turned towards the left. You see that one eye seems to be facing the camera more, the other one is completely turned to the side. All of them are like that. I don't know. Again, I have no idea if that's intentional to make her look more messed up and creepy or what. I mean, I like it. It does definitely add to her a little more. I think it's kind of cool that they did that and kind of messed with the eyes. And it's even like, I think it's moved up a little bit too, so it's really meant to look like she's all kinds of messed up. They also have her bleeding up here. This is on all of them. It is weird that they made her bleed for a doll, but it's almost like she's suffering from head trauma, like she has a concussion or something. They did some weird things with this. This was the era of Spirit where they slapped blood on things and they try to do some weird, wacky stuff with their props. And sometimes it worked, or in this one's case, it really didn't work. I think it would have been fine if they just kept the lazy eyes because she's an old doll, and you know how old dolls get, their eyes get wonky, and skipped out the blood. Now, another push doll does not have the bloody forehead. I do have the push doll variant, by the way. She's not here. She's actually in my room, chilling on a shelf with all of my other push dolls. But I know she does not have this bloody splotch. I checked. I double-checked before I brought this one here. She does not. She does not have the blood on her forehead, which is really weird that they did it on this. So it's kind of cool that, again, they did the molded shoes on this. This is a really weird plastic. It's like, I don't know if it's picking up. It's a weird plastic material. It feels like it's going to be really flimsy, but it's actually fairly solid. Hands are the standard SVI hand material. Head is decently thick. So animation is what makes this really cool. So she's almost completely static, except for her eyes that move side to side and light up. And I think that makes this really creepy. And I wish they would do more dolls like this. We've seen one other. I guess we have seen one other. Well, I guess it's the life size. But we've seen one other doll from them that had moving eyes, and that was Possessed Polly, I think was her name. There's too many possessed P words out there now. But she doesn't have the cool side-to-side eye movement like this one. Because this looks like a genuinely old porcelain doll. It would have been better, again, had they just left out this blood splotch. Because this is a fabric, from someone who's painted actual porcelain dolls. This is a fabric and material and pattern that I have seen on actual porcelain dolls before. So this is actually a really effective prop. And, it's creepy. It definitely messes with people's fears of old porcelain dolls that were probably in, your great-grandma's china cabinet that she thought were the cutest things in the world. Didn't have the heart to tell her, hey, these are actually Satan's babies. Totally don't have any trauma there. But you get the point. Like, this was really well done. So, this is from the same era, again, as a lot of my other stuff. And this was, again, the only animated SVI piece that they did. They were doing, at that time, mostly the push dolls. I think this was their kind of experiment outside of that. Obviously, it didn't take off as well as they hoped it would, but I wish it did. Don't get me wrong, I like the push dolls. The push dolls are fun and all, but I much prefer larger animated tabletops like this. And a lot of other people do as well. Because again, with this, like the bears, this is also highly coveted amongst like doll collectors and people like creepy toys because it's different. It moves. It's got a really effective animation to it. I don't know. I would hope that maybe SVI would consider bringing this back, or if not this exact doll, a similar one with the moving eyes and the posable arms. And that's another thing too, is the arms are fully posable. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to pose them, but you can. Just the wire's so stiff. But to do these, because we've got like 3-foot dolls that do nothing, that those are still in production. We've got like a lot of bigger 3-foot doll characters, so I'm not really counting them as the tabletops. And we've got a couple life-size dolls that are animated, but they kind of just skip past actual animated tabletop dolls. It's kind of like Techie is the only one carrying the scene right now. And I like Techie, but I like my cereal with some milk. You know what I mean? I like a little bit of everything. So this has 4 phrases, I think. This button's a little fidgety, so it might skip a phrase. It might act like it's broken. This thing is in perfectly fine condition. It's just the button doesn't like it, or vice versa. I don't know what its issue is with the button, but yeah, I'll at least do a couple.
You should go to sleep now. I'll be right here when you wake up.
should have also mentioned, because it's old SVI, it's got a loud motor. Um, I don't know how to silence it. Maybe grease it a little bit. But again, you're going to have to open up this head. I'm not going to do that until this thing breaks. I hope this thing doesn't break because I'm going to cry when it does. But that's the thing to keep note of, is that the motors are a little loud.
I'm watching you. I'm always watching you.
Yeah, I'm only going to do 2 because, again, it doesn't like this button. I think this is also the original one, too. Pretty sure. And it just, for whatever reason, fights with it. But, yeah, I think this thing's really cool. Again, secondhand market prices are ridiculous with this thing. For it being almost $100, don't feed them that amount. Ask your friend. Ask someone who's, buying out lots. There's a lot of people like that. They tend to sell stuff like this for a lot cheaper because they don't value these things as high as, like, I don't know, annoying people on eBay that like to just overvalue everything. I would probably spend at most $50 on this. And that's taking into consideration the value of it. Maybe $60, pushing it. Because, it was kind of expensive even for its time. I wouldn't even go close to $100. I wouldn't go to $70. I wouldn't go to $80. $60, I think. You're kind of right on the money if you're willing to pay a little more. If not, I think, especially nowadays, retail is fine. I think this was overpriced for sure for what it was. It's literally just a sized up push doll with moving eyes. That's all it was. I mean, it's not remarkable. It does have a little bit of versatility. You can move the arms. The head does swivel. As you can see, it's hard to do with one hand. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your guys' money, so I can't really tell you what to do. But if you want my advice from someone who has one and has kind of gotten the feel of it, try to find someone who's willing to work with you and stay close to retail. I think that's a really good price. Forgot to mention too, this is motion only activated. The motion sensor is not great. Again, it's old. What did you expect? Old light sensors sometimes suck, and it is a light sensor. It's kind of in an awkward spot right there in her mouth, so it's kind of deep in there. So if you have it in a low light setting, this will probably never go off. Sorry about you. If you want to be cool and technical, stick like an IR sensor in there. Hey, go right ahead. But this uses an old light sensor, so it's not the most sensitive thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, guys, happy holidays. I hope you enjoyed this video. If I somehow stumble across another toy prop, some way, I will add it in here. I doubt I will. This is all I have right now. Like I said, I've been getting these since like October through November. So if I stumble upon another one that I really want, that's like not going to cost me an arm and a leg, 'cause I'm a lot more stingy when it comes to tabletops. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to drop $100 on something this small. To me, that just doesn't seem worth it, because these are more fragile than an animatronic. They're built like toys, basically, and you know how toys last. But yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Maybe I'll see you this month, maybe I won't. This is kind of a dry spell area for me. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.